here on Midday Kentucky with the royal wedding passing, and now David's wedding coming up. We wanted to bring in Sally Plass, an etiquette expert, with us this afternoon to give us some tips. Thank you for coming on the show, Sally.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be here. This is fun. It was a fun weekend.
Oh, it certainly was. And now that we're looking ahead to David's wedding, I guess let's start with pre-dining etiquette. Do you have any tips there that we should know before the meal even starts?
Yes. Well, first of all, I noticed that for the royal wedding, you would never start or sit down or even put your napkin in your lap until the queen does.
Okay.
Until the host or hostess. And in America, we would do the same thing. We would wait until the host or hostess would come and seat, stand behind their chair, and they would make sure all the guests were there, and then they sit down, then you may sit down.
Oh, okay.
Also, then the host or hostess would place their napkin in their lap, and that's your signal to place your napkin in your lap. That's one of the first things you would do after you sit down. You don't wait until the food comes. You don't wait until your drinks are served. You do that right away.
Well, Sally, I think that's important because I think we've all seen people just kind of take their napkins, maybe throw it on the table and whatnot.
Yes.
Now, Sally, one thing I wanted to ask is kind of explaining the difference between American and continental dining. Can you break that down for us?
There is a difference, and I want to preface it with saying, if you've never lived in another country, or your family is not from another country, or you've not been trained in the continental style of eating, then I would not try to do it to impress people. It's
Don't
awkward.
fake it.
It's awkward, it is.
Okay.
And it takes practice.
Okay.
But what would happen is, in the continental style of eating, they will pick up their fork and hold it the entire meal, and their knife the entire meal.
And I noticed you picked the inside fork up also.
Yes. Well, actually, if you were beginning a meal, you would always start from the outside and work in.
Okay.
Always.
Okay.
Always. Because that is the order in which the courses will be served.
Okay.
So it's just one of those little things that makes it a little helpful to know.
Well, that's a good tip. In any situation or any setting, you always start on the outside, work in.
Great.
And let me give you a tip. If you're in a situation where it's really crowded and you don't know which is your silverware or your glasses, you would always remember this: BMW. Bread, this is your bread plate, your meal, and your water.
Ooh, I like that. BMW.
Yes, BMW. Think about the car, yes. Okay, so I would start with my outside fork, and it will be turned upside down. Now notice I'm holding my fork with my fingers around the handle, and my pointer, my index finger, is on the back to give me some leverage.
Okay.
And this is how I will anchor my food when I get ready to cut.
Right.
But also in the continental style, I will keep it this way the entire meal. Unless, in a few instances, if you have just a fish dish or maybe a real simple pasta, you would maybe only hold your fork and you would turn it over. But basically, it's always upside down. Your knife is always in your other hand. It stays in it. And your index finger is on the back again, just like on your fork. Your fingers are gripping the handle. So, in the continental style of eating, you would use your fork to anchor the food for cutting. You just go down, back, down. You're not sawing like cutting wood. And then you would actually keep your fork in this position and bring the food to your mouth.
Okay.
Now that's the continental. Yes. No shovels. No shovels.
Great tip there. We're running out of time, so I just want to ask you. We have these on here to talk about to notice, right? Real quick.
The phone, the purse.
Oh, I'm so glad you noticed. This is one thing that the Queen said absolutely not.
Okay.
No phones, no selfies. And in America, or in any country actually, the phone should never be out on the table.
And what do you do with your purse?
The purse is a really big question. A lot of women don't know what to do with it, and especially if you have a smaller purse, you don't want to just lay it on the floor. So you would be holding it like this. You would either slip it behind your back, between your back and the chair, or maybe place it just right under your leg if you have room. If you have to, put it on the floor, but never, never, never on the table. Now I want to go ahead and talk about the American style of eating.
Well, Miss Sally, there's so much here, and I want people to know how to get a hold of you. If they need to reach out to you, how can they find
We're
you?
gonna have to come back for another segment.
Yeah.
Oh my, it's already finished.
Yeah, we gotta
quick.
wrap.
Oh, I have so much to say. It's sallyplass@gmail.com
Okay.
or Etiquette Enrichment and Life Coaching. It's on Facebook. I have a website.
Wonderful.
And we have all that information we're putting up on the screen. Sally, thank you for coming on the show today. We're going to send things to break, but we have your What's Poppin' on the other side.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Great job.
Oh my goodness, it was over?